What would you do if your child was diagnosed with cerebral palsy and you were told that he or she would never walk? This was my next guest's response. We weren't just going to accept that she's not going to walk, so we won't put in any effort. An effort they made. Swati, her husband, and their daughter Kyra gave it their all. With physical and occupational therapy, DIY activities, tools, and equipments, and putting their sole focus on Kyra's independence, today, Kyra can walk, ride a bike, swim, and ride horses. Find out about this family's imperfectly perfect life, their struggles, endurance, victories, celebrations, and their contribution to parenthood and childcare. They bring love, light, and hope. Welcoming Swati from Austin, Texas to Candid with Candy. If this is your first time, I'm Candy, your host. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and please like and share. Thank you. Very good morning, Swati. It is absolutely a delight to see you here at Candid with Candy.
Thank you for asking me to come. It's fun.
Why obviously I wanted to have you is the fact that you have been a very big influencer, and what you do is unique, it is heartfelt, it is making a huge impact not only on your own lives but the lives of many people. And if you can begin with describing how you felt right when you first found out that your daughter had cerebral palsy. I believe she was hardly 8 to 9 months old.
And then she wasn't diagnosed at 9 months. She was closer to 13 months, right before her first birthday party that we had planned for her, because the official diagnosis didn't come till MRI was done.
I see.
Before that, they always thought that it's just some kind of muscle tightness that is making it this way. And at 9 months, she was crawling the army crawl. She was not crawling 4-point crawl, like on hands and knees. She was crawling on hands. And since I am a dentist, it got me bothered that why is she not crawling properly? And she should be crawling properly. And I gave her like 15, 20 days, which when she didn't correct herself, I took her to pediatrician, and pediatrician wasn't bothered either, that kids have all sort of different tendencies and
right.
Not worried. But I wanted to start physical therapy just in case if she needs help, just to give her a little help. And I physical therapy, and the physical therapist who came home said that she has seen different kinds of kids and it doesn't feel like this is a muscle tightness anymore after doing therapy for about a month. And, I asked the pediatrician, what's the next step here? And she was like, you're moving way too fast, Swati. It could be nothing. And I said, no, I want to know if it's nothing. I just want to be out of the way that it's nothing. And they said the next step is seeing a neurologist, and it's extreme. And I said, it's okay. So we called the neurologist, and the neurologist said, for me to say anything, I have to do an MRI.
Right.
So then that was the question there, that for MRI, she needs to be sedated. So are we ready to take that step? Is it that big of a deal in our head that we want to take this step? And I just am this person who needs to know, like absolutely needs to know there's nothing. And so we got it done, and the diagnosis, it was the next day was her birthday party. We had planned like the first birthday party. And it was just so hard being there in that moment. But then also my photographer was like, you don't want to remember her first birthday party as the day that you got the diagnosis. Just focus on her. And it was so hard. We would momentarily go out, wipe our tears, come back in, because none of our friends knew at that time because we were processing it.
Right.
And yeah, that was the day that we got the official diagnosis that, okay, this is it. But my mind was already there. I just didn't want it, but I kind of knew. And I think Govind also kind of knew that this is what we are going into.
So then, and then obviously after that, it was confirmed, Yeah. Can you tell us how you and your husband was feeling at that point in time? Just describe those emotions, right?
As a person, I think what shaped me all those years of college and, just going through life is Also, I took a lot of therapy in college because I was bullied a lot in college. So it was a mental breakdown point there at nearly 18, 19 years old. And I had to take a lot of pills for anxiety and stuff and come to a point where I was okay. So all of that combined to this moment, I already knew how to handle myself, what was going on. And at that point, I used to think, why am I going through all of this? I'm only 18. But when I got the diagnosis, I felt I was getting ready for this. Life was making me get ready for this. So it was very easy for me to move on with life and go on. I think then my husband struggled a little more, but I can only talk about myself here.
Right. So the next question is, like you rightly said, you were a doctor, and with your daughter's diagnosis of cerebral palsy, your decision obviously was that, hey, I need to make some decisions here, and I'm going to go ahead, leave my profession behind for a little bit, let that take a back seat, because I want to be wholly there for my daughter. Now, how difficult was that?
In the starting, it wasn't difficult at all, because my hours were consumed by either research or just making sure she is doing therapy.
Mm-hmm.
It started being a problem when she started getting better and she started getting independent. And that's when my identity crisis started coming in, that what's next for me? What do I do? So I had to take life coaching again to determine what's next for me, because I felt so lost at that time. If my purpose is back again dentistry or something else. And then I figured my back again purpose is teaching, because that's what I enjoyed the most. So we kind of took a backseat from there to moved a little to teaching, like making printables and other things that I do on my website now, because the way Kyra learned is also very visual. And then a lot of non-special needs parents joined into my page, and they also said that their kids learned very fast by the methods that I taught academics.
Wow.
It wasn't just therapies, but it went into academics later. And then I discovered that I could be a better teacher. So we shifted goals from being a dentist to a teacher now that, okay, we are good doing this now. So being dentist, I do somewhere feel a little remorse that I put in way too much work there. And what's done is done, and I can't go back. So.
Who would have known that you'd get into teaching, and that too, academics and, teaching all sorts of methods. And today you live a very, you live a life that is fulfilling, and you're helping so many people. They kind of impact, like you said, not only to special needs parents, but to parents in general. So that's amazing. Society can be harsh. So can your friends and your own family members, right? And especially when, your children are diagnosed with the conditions like, cerebral palsy or autism or whatever it is, right? I think there's a lot of taboo still, especially within the Indian society, and there's superstition and a lot of things that people say and talk, and they can be really mean.
Yeah.
So what was it like, right? How did your friends and the society in general respond to this news?
I remember, I'm not going to say names, but family would say, do not tell anyone, because then nobody will marry her.
A
1-year-old. And then others told me, because you put up pictures while you were pregnant, this is what happened.
Yeah. See, I told you, superstition. Oh my God.
And you should have not put in pictures or shown your belly or while I was pregnant. This is the reason it happened.
Oh my God.
Because US, this happened. US doctors don't know anything. And the most funny was this last one that we got. It was from a friend. And me and Govind used to, every Saturday, Sunday, we would go someplace out and have a lot of fun. And even if we were at home, we just loved enjoying life in general. They used to say, I have a very perfect life. I married an engineer, I'm living in the US, and I'm a dentist myself. So my life is pretty perfect. I have a dog, and, it was a very perfect life. And when the diagnosis came, this friend told me that now it's a balance. Your life is as imperfect because no one can have a perfect life, right? It's imperfect like the rest of us, which bugged me so much that just because we have a diagnosis, you think my life is now imperfect. Hence the page name, Imperfectly Perfect Life, because it was still perfect, just a little imperfectly, because you think it's imperfect, but not according to me.
Defying science. You've been a science student all your life. You're a doctor. And you were told from the beginning that, Kyra would not be like other children. She wouldn't be able to walk. She wouldn't be able to ride a bike. She wouldn't be able to do a lot of things that, little kids can do. And that's how her life was going to be. And yet you didn't accept it. And you still went ahead and, made life-changing decisions for her. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
At that point, when we were making these decisions, it definitely wasn't to prove anything to anyone. It was more, how can we help at this point? Okay, if walking is going to be hard, how can we make it easy? Or what therapies need to be done so that she can strengthen her feet more? We just don't want to accept it that, okay, she can't walk, so I'm not going to put an effort. No, it was more like, okay, maybe she'll walk or maybe she'll not walk. And walking was not the end goal, but independence was. So how can we try to make her more independent? As in then life progressed, she showed improvement. And once she showed improvement, we kept going the same pattern that, okay, now she can walk. Will she be able to run? We also had to be very mindful not to push her to a limit that she breaks and starts crying. That swimming, for example, my neurologist told me it's really good for her arm strength. Mm-hmm. Teaching swimming was never the end goal. It was always to build an arm strength or shoulder strength. So we took her to a local swimming pool and hired a personal instructor, which was like $45 a half an hour. And she specialized in special needs kids. Mm-hmm. She told me after 2 sessions that Kyra can never enter water. She's that stubborn. And it hurt my feelings so much that you're not even taking time to teach her. And we don't want to learn swimming. We just want that arm motion in so that she can strengthen her muscles. Mm-hmm. So I came home and I told Govind that I think we need to look into building a backyard pool. So we researched everything that we could because we couldn't hire people to build because it's like almost $7,000 to do it by a professional company. And we were like, we can do it ourselves. And it took us, I think, 2 weeks of YouTubing everything. And under $500, we were done. And we had to learn a lot, but we did it. And once that arm strength set in, she loved water. So every day when that started, it became a family bonding time. And also that arm strength, when it set in, she learned how to swim. By no means it was easy. It took 3 years for her to go from where she was to learning to swim, but she did it. Same thing with bicycle riding. Her ankle needs a lot of this kind of movement. That one thing is for sure, we do not lack in resources. We will build it, make it happen. We do not give excuses. Horse riding, it started with therapy. Hippotherapy was a part of her muscle movement. And she used to cry 40 minutes for 3 months consistently. But from there, she moved on to loving it so much that she was just given an award of Youth Equestrian of the Year.
Wow.
And now she rides independently. Yeah, we just never gave up is what we never did. Defying science just happened on its own. And I think Kyra did it. We as parents just didn't give excuses.
What drove everything is the intent. You kept repeating the fact that the end result was not to make her walk, or not to make her swim, or not to make her ride a bike or ride a horse. Those were more used as means for you, a means for her independence.
Yes.
For her to exercise certain muscle groups, so that they don't stiffen more and, there's motion, and eventually, the focus was on her independence. So I think that whole mindset, right, that whole intent was so clear, and hence your results have been so powerful, right? It's been exemplary.
It also, I think, helps not get frustrated, because
Yeah.
we're only focused on not swimming, not teaching how to swim, but just to move the arm, then in your mind, you're not getting frustrated. But if you're, hey, I want to teach my kid how to swim, you're getting super frustrated that why can't she swim? Why can't she swim?
No, that's a big learning, again, not only for special needs kids, but just parents in general.
She had so many diagnoses, not just cerebral palsy. It came epilepsy, and then came the sleeping disorder and eye disorder. She had amblyopia. She couldn't see from one eye properly, so we had to patch that eye for 4 hours and do vision therapies. And then speech, we had to do speech therapy. And everything just was hard. And now is the time when it kind of took a little backseat. But she also has peripheral blindness, that she can't see on the sides. You see straight. So a lot of work had been put in, and I just can't shut off my brain because I'm constantly thinking about it.
Right.
You're not doing physical right now. If you're tired of physical, let's do occupational. Or you're too tired for occupational, let's move to vision. Or academics, I am part of your academics too. I think that's why I overcompensate for every celebration, that she needs to have fun too. She needs to learn that fun is a part of life too, and not just therapy.
Kudos, to you guys, all of you, including Kyra. And she's having to struggle with, things that we take for granted,
Yes.
things that are so basic. So, and she's such a fighter, and there's so much that we already can learn from that little soul. So God bless her, and we wish her the very best. I'm sure as she keeps growing up with such, in the environment that she is, she's just going to keep thriving and learning more. So moving on to your channel, right? Can you let everybody know when you started it, and eventually what is your vision?
I started the page to connect with other special needs parents, because I wanted a community to vent. I think I just wanted to vent a little and not being told, hey, everything will be okay. No, I wanted someone to listen and just listen. The second intent was also, there's a lot of stigma that people carry that, if now you have a special needs kid and your life's just done for. So I want to show parents can still go out and have fun and live a normal life, and kids included. And then there's also a lot of taboo thinking that they cannot live a functional life. And I wanted to change that and show otherwise. So my intent started from there, and hopefully it reaches parents who do not have access to good physical therapy or occupational therapy. Sometimes I would take their questions and also ask my personal physical therapist and occupational therapist and help them out. Then I started seeing results from other parents, and then kind of pushed me that, okay, other parents are showing results and gaining something meaningful out of it. Whatever we made adaptive for Kyra, we always had input from our physical therapist. So it wasn't random making videos and stuff. It was always with the input of someone there. We give so many excuses that we don't think it'll be safe. So let's make it.
Let's not do it at all.
Yes. But anything worth that is worth doing it poorly. And you can be there to monitor the safety. The parallel bar I made was not heavy enough. And I did mention it in the instructions that it's not heavy because it's PVC pipes. It's not metal. So always be present there. But then it's also a disabled kid who can't have that much force and push it around or force it around like my Inaya would do. Put weights on it, make it work. Just do something, but do not give excuses. I see a lot of parents just putting in excuse after excuse.
I think that's brilliant, and you've beautifully put it. I think the message is very clear. So thank you so much for that, Swati.
Sure, thanks for having me.
So welcome to Candid with Candy's rapid fire round with Swati, all the way from Austin, Texas. Are you ready?
Yes.
One thing you miss most about India?
Food.
One tip that you have for upcoming influencers?
Don't do it. Don't make it hard for us.
3 adjectives to describe you as a mother.
Loyal, Passionate? Fierce?
What's your worst fear?
Not waking up in the morning.
What's the best compliment you've received?
That I have a very beautiful smile.
Oh my God. I had a lovely time, Swati. Thank you so much.
Me too.
I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you enjoyed Swati's story. For more of such inspiring stories, please check out the rest of my videos. Until next week, take care and God bless.